If you compare March of 2019 to March of 2020, phone calls to the U.S.'s National Mental Health Hotline were up by 891%. Now, of course, that would include calls about a wide variety of mental health issues, anxiety being the most common. We did a few videos earlier in this series on anxiety, so today I want to talk just a little bit about depression. Now, I need to be quick to say that depression is not simple, not easy, and I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or therapist. And depression can also be directly related to physical problems in our bodies, and I'm not a medical doctor either. However, God's word is also very helpful and very relevant when we are struggling with depression. So I want to mention 3 resources that might be helpful for you and then just suggest one basic starting point. And first of all, there's a wonderful little book by David Murray that's titled Christians Get Depressed Too. It's brief, easy, it's an encouraging little read, and I strongly encourage you to get it. You can also look at their videos at vimeo.com/headhearthand. There are some brief videos there from Murray about depression, but if you go all the way down to the bottom of their videos, they have about 5 longer videos, I think they're about 45 minutes long, that tell the stories of Christians who battle depression, but they've been willing to talk about how God has helped them on that path. And so I encourage you to go watch those. They might be really, really helpful and strengthening for you. Now, secondly, for a much more in-depth study to help you with depression, there is a kind of a course, a self-study with videos and a workbook by one of my favorite counselors, Brad Hambrick. That's available at bradhambrick.com/depression. And then several years ago, I read through and just kind of talked through Ed Welch's book. It's called Depression, Looking Up from the Stubborn Darkness. And I made really low budget, simple videos and audio of me reading parts of that and then talking about it. And so it was simple, but it was a labor of love from my pastor's heart to my church family. So if you're interested in those videos or audio, you can find them at findhope.net/depression. So what's a practical starting point if COVID-19 or anything else has you feeling depressed right now? And I would recommend that you try to pray about and think about getting a little more specific about what depression means for you. Ask yourself, what kind of thoughts run through my mind most frequently when I'm feeling depressed? And this is important because there are a lot of things that might make us feel depressed. Grief, shame, anger, hopelessness, disappointment, failure, relational hurt, physical pain, anxiety, fatigue, sleeplessness, guilt, loneliness, helplessness, uselessness. And the reason why it's helpful to explore which of these things might be contributing to your depression is because God's word has so much encouragement for each of those things. Sometimes the really vague term depression keeps us from finding hope from God's word for the specific things that have been causing us to feel depressed. So that's one potential starting point for you, is to pray about and think about what are the factors in your depression. Now, I realize that for some of you already know very well what the factors are. You're very aware of what things you're thinking about most when you're feeling depressed. So I hope some of those other resources that I mentioned might be useful for you. But no matter what step you take next, I hope you might realize that God does not pull back from you when you are feeling depressed. He is not upset at you. He's not disappointed with you because of your depression. He's not leaving you all alone until you finally get your act together. In Lamentations 3, verse 20, Jeremiah wrote that as he remembered everything that was going on in his life, including all the things that were wrong and all the things that he'd lost, he said his soul was bowed down within him. And at least 2 Bible translations translate that as, I was depressed. But then he finds hope in this truth: the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. God has not turned against you because of your depression. His mercies for you are new every morning.